Wolves-Liverpool starting 11s announced. Just weeks after beating their West Midlands counterparts in the FA Cup, Liverpool once again headed to Molineux to tackle Wolverhampton Wanderers in Saturday's Premier League game. Since November 2021, the Wolves have failed to take home back-to-back wins in the Premier League and remain the league's worst scorers by 6 strokes. But Liverpool has also shown little offensive sharpness in their most recent league games. The Reds will not retain their EFL Cup or FA Cup crowns this season. However, Klopp admitted he was proud to see him perform better at Amex after losing 2-1 to the league-promoting Seagulls before their 3-0 knockout defeat. Now focused solely on their Premier League and Champions League successes, Liverpool's miserable 3-game run in the top flight leaves them stuck in mid-table uncertainty. They currently sit in 9th place, 10 points behind the top 4, albeit with one game on their hands against Newcastle United and Manchester United. Not bringing in more than one player in the January transfer window means pessimism is rampant around Anfield, and a record 2 wins from the last 9 Premier League away games won't improve the mood. The Wolves and Liverpool drew 2-2 at Anfield in the third-round opening match of the FA Cup last month. But Klopp's men won the rematch 1-0 thanks to Elliot's stun, and the Reds have won each of their last 6 Premier League games at Molineux. At Wolves, Chiquinho, Pedro Neto, Boubacar Traoré and Sosa Kaladzic continue their rehabilitation. Meanwhile, Liverpool's injury situation is going from bad to worse. Because Ibrahima Konate is reportedly facing a 3-week layoff due to a hamstring injury he received against Brighton in the FA Cup. Fabio Carvalho and Nat Phillips will both need to be evaluated while Konate takes a bed in the well-occupied treatment room alongside Virgil van Dijk, Arthur, Diogo Jota, Luis Diaz and Roberto Firmino. Phillips' final day debut was reportedly blocked following Konate's injury. This shows that Joel Matip and Joe Gomez are partners in the back for now. Darwin Nunez will definitely be back on the edge of the attack after a short spell between the reserves. In the light of all this information, Liverpool's starting lineup is as follows: Alisson in the castle, Alexander-Arnold at right back, Gomez and Matip in tandem at centre back, Robertson at left back, Thiago, Bajcetic and Elliott in midfield. Salah will take charge on the right wing, Nunez in the middle and Gakpo on the left wing. Liverpool paves the way to sign incredible player. Liverpool may be paving the way for signing GVARDIOL. The defender shone brightly at the World Cup last year. According to Goal, there are growing whispers that Joel Matip could leave Liverpool this summer. Matip has been a vital player for years and this decision looks like a big one from the club. But I have a feeling they have very little choice. Liverpool probably need to do something at the centre-back in the summer and probably need to do something rough. A look at the current situation explains this. Virgil van Dijk is injured and turns 32 in the summer. His form was also not at the expected level this year. Ibrahima Konate was also injured. He missed most of the season with Liverpool and the 23-year-old, as good as he is, has an unfortunate history with injuries. While Joe Gomez has that history, his form hasn't improved this season either. There's also Matip, another player with a rough injury history. He also turns 32 this summer. Liverpool don't have reliable options in the back and it makes a lot of sense to move Matip. Also, doing so can open the door to a great signature. GVARDIOL was one of the standout players at the World Cup. He was great for Croatia and quickly gained a reputation as one of the tournament's best defenders. Manager Zlatko Dalic described him as incredible for his efforts. Also, recent reports have reported that Liverpool love him very much. Matip's departure could open the door to a move. And it's a race the Reds can win. My dream club? That would definitely be Liverpool, said GVARDIOL. Since I was little, I watched many matches with my father. We covered each season in detail. It's a club that's stuck in my heart, he said. The 21-year-old defender is an outstanding player and has even greater potential. If Liverpool want to definitively lock the future of their defense, there seems to be no better target. We have already mentioned before January that Liverpool are interested in the Croatian star. But priorities were different and only Gakpo was transferred. A new defender may not be needed in the short term, but Matip's contract is triggering this situation. Of course, it will not be easy to transfer him after his performance in the World Cup. He is just 21 years old and a left-footed defender. Recently, the interest in left-footed stoppers has increased more in the market and they have become more valuable assets because they are less in number. Therefore, GVARDIOL is not expected to be on the market with a cheap price tag. Also, besides Liverpool, Real Madrid and Manchester City are among the clubs that are interested in the player. Should MATIP leave the team at the end of the season, the GVARDIOL move will definitely be on the horizon. Roberto Firmino warns Liverpool of $23 million a contract decision as FSG deal is close. The injury Roberto Firmino suffered prior to Liverpool's Carabao Cup match against Manchester City was only supposed to be minor. Firmino went through a scan after taking a hit in training, and the results showed the problem wasn't serious. It was decided that he would not risk it for his trip to the Etihad, and it was also considered a doubt for his trip to Aston Villa on Boxing Day. However, Jürgen Klopp said he is expected to fully recover in 10 days to 2 weeks. 6 weeks and 9 games later, still no sign of the Brazilian. He did the normal rehab stuff, all the experts told us we could do it, then Bobby felt something again. That kept him out longer, Klopp said. Firmino is still a few weeks away from rejoining team practice, so we can safely eliminate him from today's away game at Wolves and from the Merseyside derby next Monday, the manager told reporters ahead of his FA Cup trip to Brighton last weekend. At this point it will be approaching 2 months. In the midst of Firmino's dismissal, FSG moved forward with contract negotiations in the background. So much so that he is now on the verge of writing an extension. A final decision will be made soon, but a 2-year contract extension is on the horizon. At the start of the season, the renewal case looked pretty weak and FSG was probably wary of making a new deal. Liverpool had agreed to pay up to $105 million to sign Darwin Nunez from Benfica and looked poised to become the club's first-choice centre-forward. Furthermore, he was following an injury campaign that saw him miss 25 games with 4 separate injuries, 3 of which were muscular. This was particularly worrying given that he had only 18 games on the sidelines in the first 6 seasons of his Liverpool career, averaging 3 games per campaign. For Klopp, years of leading a ruthless press seemed to have paid the price after all. But then Firmino embarked on a form run that revived his hopes by scoring 9 goals and 4 assists in 21 games before the World Cup. It was a surprise to see Brazil cut from their squad, but the good news for Liverpool is that Liverpool continue to build on their best performance since winning the Premier League in 2020 and appear to be in top shape for the second phase of the campaign. But you could argue that this latest injury should have tipped the scales decisively against Firmino. Liverpool signed Cody Gakpo, which they wanted to turn into a fake 9. But FSG still seems intent on extending an injury-prone striker's contract. The truth is that Firmino may not be available for much of the next 2 years, and while the short-term nature of the deal mitigates the risk, he still gets a hefty paycheck. He currently earns about $217,000 a week and only Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Thiago earn more than him. For reference, 2 full years of $217,000 a week equates to a final amount of approximately $23 million, before any bonuses are accounted for. Perhaps, then, a new deal only makes sense if Firmino is willing to take a pay cut. He may be overwhelmed with feelings about continuing with one of the most beloved actors of the Klopp era. But Liverpool also need to make sure they are making the right business decision.